What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to install a Yofer kit on a 2021 Accord. Tools and material I recommend for installation would be some heat gun, a drill, Phillips or flathead driver, a knife, maybe some super glue, and some 3M tape. This tape you can get at like Home Depot or AutoZone. I don't recommend using the tape that's inside the box. I highly recommend stronger material. Now before we get started, let's open up the kit. So that's everything that's inside the box. You got the whole entire kit, and you get this little box. Inside here, it's going to be the 3M tape, a weather strip, and some screws. I don't recommend using this little tape here. Again, I do recommend using this little 3M tape. It's pretty thick, very strong. Highly recommend it. But before we start putting this on, we should start off by putting on the weather strip. And I will show you that now. Now before you start applying tape, you do want to clean these edges with some rubbing alcohol. So let's get to it before I start doing that. Now that's done, let's go ahead and start applying the weather strip. It's already started a little ply of weather strip. Already started here. What you want to do is slowly peel off while you're putting it on. And apply pressure for putting on the whole thing. Peel off just a portion. Apply pressure on there. And just continue doing this until you get to the very end over here. So this is where I mentioned that just in case you might need super glue. And the reason being is because sometimes this adhesive doesn't want to stick. So what I do, just apply a tiny bit on there, just to the tape. Just be very careful not to get this onto your fingers. And you don't need a lot, just like a little dab, and you can just run this along the tape itself. The super glue is actually pretty strong. So just let it sit there. And just hold it in place for a couple of like seconds, maybe 30 seconds or less. Once that's there, you'll notice that holds pretty nicely. Yeah, if you come across that, I recommend doing that because it does really help and keep the weather strip on. But I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse this again, and again apply this all the way once you get to the very end over here. So that's the weather strip on. So they're very nicely. You can see that I brought the weather strip all the way to the very edge, and you'll have a little excess hanging out here. But again, I do recommend using the glue just in case the tape doesn't stick, because for sure using a super glue will hold it on in the long run. But now that you have this excess, go ahead and use your blade to cut that off, or scissors, whatever. I'm going to use these clippers to have a very, very precise cuts. this tape onto this end. But again, I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse that. There you have it. I applied the 3M like this. You can see how I'm very as close as I can to the edge. It's usually the important part if you want to have that nice flush look into the car. So do that. Make sure the tape is applied on properly. Really apply pressure on it to make sure it's really stuck on there. There's many people I've seen do different patterns here, but honestly this is like the best, well, one of the best ways to do it. I haven't had problems with it yet, so whatever you're comfortable with, feel free to do it that way, but this is the way I recommend it. And before we apply this on, go ahead and test fit it on the car. But before we test fit it, gotta air up the car. So for this part, we're just gonna test fit it just to make sure that we have an idea where it's gonna go onto the bumper. You don't really need a jack for this, but most people use it just for their comfort, but I don't really need it. So yeah, it's up to you. Let's go ahead and just get an idea where we're gonna put this. So for this lip, these are different from like the 2018s to the 2020 lips. For example, like this end right here, the 2018 to the 2020s doesn't have that little little groove, or whatever you want to call this, right here at the end. So what I do here is I actually line it up as best as I can right here. Let's see if we get a better angle at this. Oh, let me adjust the camera. Okay. You can see that I have it just sitting right at the end of the bumper. Pretty much you'll have it there. And you follow this kit fitting on this end right over here as well too. So pretty much this gives me a rough idea of actually how this is going to get planted in. So yeah. Alright, now that we test fitted the lip onto the bumper, now before applying the tape, clean off the bumper with some rubbing alcohol first to avoid the dirt. I'll first clean it off with like water and soap, and then use rubbing alcohol to clean off the remaining surface just to get a really clean touch on it. And while I do that, I'm gonna start peeling off just the tape. I'll do another time lapse on that, and then I'll get back to you guys in a second. Once you clean that off, and once you like preset the tape, I have my tape set like this. I didn't fully take it off yet just because I'm not putting it on just yet. But let's go ahead and start putting this bad boy on. Now applying this on, it's going to require a little strength because sometimes you do need to bend it just a bit just so you can get that perfect fit. But once you're already here, go ahead and start removing just these ones that are over here. I'll make sure this tape right here is pulled at least maybe half and sticking out so you can grab it on the other side. And I'll show you why in a bit. I'll go ahead and start applying this to where you test fitted it. Put my here. Once that's on, you want to hold it in first so you can let the adhesive start doing its job. Once you have that, go ahead and start putting this. As you do this part, peel off the tape as you're going. As you peel off the tape, keep applying pressure. Onto the bumper. So you can let the tape settle in. Cool. Have it. Got the first side done. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this video and I'm gonna just do the same process but onto the other side. Alright guys, so back. I went ahead and did the same process that I showed you in the beginning to the other side and I applied it on. So now this is how the side pieces look. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier was the heat gun. Once you apply like the tape onto the bumper, just apply some heat on it just so you can settle in the adhesive a little bit more. It speeds up the process just a little bit. But let me go ahead, show you how to put this thing on. This will be the centerpiece. Just like that. And as I mentioned earlier, you would need like any type of screwdriver. Right here, I would go to this little hole here. Try to work it just a bit. Work it around. And sometimes if this doesn't work, then you get your blade. And you just cut this a little open, just like this. Got a nice little circle. Just be careful not to overcut it because you don't want the clip to not clip onto this. Once you get that hole, go ahead and clip. Shoot this guy here. Alright, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna take a little clip, you're gonna put this through the hole of the centerpiece, like this, and you're gonna put the clip through the hole on the side piece that you made over there. Yes. Once you have that on, go ahead and push the clip so it locks in place. And once you have that on, go ahead and do the same process on the other side. Alright guys, so we got the centerpiece clipped on with the clips. Now all we need to do is just excuse me, drill some screws through the centerpiece. One thing I do recommend is getting some small screws like these, just specifically 3 of them. I actually found these laying around in the house, so I recommend using these for these like center grooves here. They're a little bit smaller than the ones Yofer provide you with. These things are a little bit too big, so these wouldn't fit inside that. So I do recommend using these. And for those, I would specifically be drilling this through the hole right here. See if I can get that angle right. There you go. So you drill it right through there. And then for the black screws, you see these little holes right here. And you drill 4 of them. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I will show you the last and final piece of what we need to do. Alright guys, we are 98% done. You can see I have bolted down, or not bolted, but screwed it down on each side. You see the little small screws that I put inside here. I don't know if you can see that right there. Now, the last and final thing that we're gonna do, and this is just something added that I recommend, but right about here, you would actually put a screw right about here, just left side of this little tap nut, what do you want to call it? Right here, this clip too. Right there. So I'm going to show you guys what it's going to look like when I drill it, and then we'll be done. Alright guys, so you can see that I put a screw right there. That's just for much more there it is. Just for much more stability or secureness actually. So you can see that's on there, and got it. That is the front lip install right there. Side look. Let me go ahead and air this out for you guys. Alright guys, there you have it. 2021 Yofer kit for the Accord. Here's the final look of it. Look right up. Looks really nice. As you can see. It's a really simple install, it's nothing too difficult. So I really hope this tutorial helped you guys a little bit. give you guys an idea of actually how to install it. So if you guys have other suggestions of doing it, feel free to do it that way. This is just my way of doing it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, catch me on my social media, and I'll catch you guys later.